Washington is known for its stunning natural beauty, thriving economy, quality education, and not to mention no income tax. But it's definitely not for everyone. In this video, we'll be discussing what you need to consider before moving to Washington. If you can't handle these things, it's best to avoid moving to Washington State completely.
Number one, the rainy weather. We can't talk about Washington without mentioning the rain, right? While it may seem like a small thing, the constant rain can have a big impact on your mood and mental health. If you're used to sunny skies, the change in weather may be a big shock. Before moving to Washington, it's important to consider whether you'll be able to handle the long gray days and limited sunlight. But what many people don't know, this rainy climate is isolated to the western side of the state. And if you head over the Cascades to the eastern side of the state, the climate is completely different. While western Washington is located in the rainy oceanic climate, the eastern half receives little rainfall due to the rain shadow created by the Cascade Mountains. Eastern Washington is a rural region where they manufacture dairy products and grow most of the U.S.'s apples and pears, while Western Washington is a coastal region where suburban areas are constantly growing and focus on progressive movements. If you can't handle the rain and gray of the western side of the state, Eastern Washington may be another option for you.
Number two, high cost of living. Washington has a high cost of living, especially in cities in the greater Seattle area like Seattle, Bellevue, Redmond, and Seattle has experienced significant economic growth in recent years, particularly in the tech industry, which has driven up housing prices and rental rates. Not to mention the housing shortage and increase in demand as Seattle has become a popular destination for people seeking employment and a high quality of life. The cost of living in these areas is significantly higher than the national average, and you'll need to be prepared to pay a premium for housing, groceries, and other essential items. That being said, there are more affordable areas in smaller towns you could consider. You can watch this video linked above, the best cities to live near Seattle. Before moving to Washington, it's important to take a look at your budget and see if you can afford the increased cost of living.
Number three, the traffic. Washington is home to some of the worst traffic in the country, particularly in the greater Seattle areas and along the I-5 corridor. Washington is home to some of the fastest growing cities in the country, like Seattle and Bellevue. This growth has led to increased traffic and overcrowding. The traffic can be a real headache, and it's not uncommon to spend hours stuck in traffic every day. I used to commute from Seattle to Bellevue every day and have even done the commute from Renton to Edmonds, and it's not fun. But I spent many hours listening to audiobooks and podcasts to help me get through it. If you're not prepared to spend that much time in your car, then you may want to reconsider moving to Washington. Unless maybe you work from home or you want to explore some of the smaller towns, you can watch this video, The Best Small Towns to Move to in Washington, linked above. If you're finding this video helpful, give us a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos.
Number four, the busy lifestyle. Washington is a bustling state with plenty of things to do and see. The cities are always alive with activity and there's always something new to discover. However, if you're looking for a more relaxed, laid-back lifestyle, you may find that Washington is too fast-paced for you. We moved from Seattle to a small community on the coast, and there are many other areas with a much slower pace. If you'd like to explore areas in Washington with a slower pace and small town vibes, check out this video linked above. The best coastal towns in Washington State. Before you make the move, consider whether you'll be able to handle the busy, fast-paced lifestyle that comes with living in Washington.
Number five, earthquakes. Washington is located in a seismically active region, which means that earthquakes are a common occurrence. While most earthquakes are small and go unnoticed, there's always the potential for a larger earthquake to occur, aka the big one, which refers to the potential large-scale earthquake that is expected to occur in the Pacific Northwest region, including Seattle. The earthquake is anticipated to be caused by a geological fault known as the Cascadia Subduction Zone, which runs along the coast of Washington, Oregon, and Northern California. Scientists predict that the next big one could be one of the most powerful earthquakes in North America, with potential magnitude estimates ranging from 8 to 9.0. This could result in widespread damage and potentially life-threatening conditions, so it's important for Seattle residents and Pacific Northwest to be prepared for this event. If you're not comfortable with the risk of living in an area with a high earthquake potential, then you may want to avoid Washington completely. Before making the move, consider whether you'll be able to handle the risk of earthquakes and whether you're comfortable with the possibility of being impacted by a natural disaster. That being said, there are risks for natural disasters, earthquakes, tornadoes, tropical storms, flooding, wildfires, pretty much anywhere you live. It's best to be prepared by creating an emergency plan, assembling an emergency kit, staying informed by signing up for local emergency alerts, and they also recommend to keep a battery-powered radio on hand.
They still have those?
I guess so.
Okay. Number 6, the long winters. While the rain in Washington can be a challenge, the winters can be equally difficult. The state can experience heavy snow and freezing temperatures, and the winters can be very long, dark, and gray. If you suffer from seasonal depression, this can be a big issue for many people. Before making the move, consider whether you'll be able to handle the long winters, and don't forget to take your vitamin D.
Washington State is a great place to live, but it's definitely not for everyone. If you can't handle the rain, high cost of living, traffic, busy lifestyle, or earthquakes, then it's best to avoid Washington completely. Take the time to consider these factors and make the best decision for you and your family. After all of this, if you're still considering moving to Washington and want to get connected with a local realtor, we work out of Grays Harbor County and have a network of realtors across the state. Send us an email or schedule an onboarding call today, and we'd love to be your real estate resource.
Despite all of these things, we've lived in Washington State all our lives, and we aren't going anywhere because we feel the benefits outweigh the cons. I mean, we are surrounded by lush and natural beauty. We live in a place where we can go golfing one day, hiking, and drive up to the mountains for a ski trip the next. And if you love the outdoors, the Pacific Northwest is one of the best places to live. But remember, moving to a new state is a big decision, and it's important to do your research and make an informed choice. If you're considering moving to Washington, take the time to consider these factors and make sure that you'll be able to handle them before making the move. If you found this video helpful and want to find an area that is more affordable than the Seattle area to live in Washington, watch this video next. Thank you so much for watching.
Bye.